All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this afternoon's live commentary coverage of the NASCAR Xfinity Series at the Kansas Speedway for the running of the Kansas Lottery 300 and the second race of the round of 12 for the NASCAR Xfinity Series playoffs. As we come into today's action, it is going to be quite a few drivers looking for a spot to get themselves into the next round of the playoffs. Got a possibility for a couple to clinch on points with a good day, even without a win, like the likes of Connor Zilisch, Justin Allgaier. And it's been about a 2-week hiatus since the playoff opener at Bristol 2 weeks ago, in which a non-playoff competitor, Eric Almirola, was actually able to steal and get the race win that day. Almirola not in the field for today's race, so it's wide open to see who's going to win race number 2 for the postseason. Welcome to today's second live commentary stream of the day. Sorry about that. I got cobwebs. Been very on the tired side since I woke up this morning. But we'll be back in full action. Once I see cars going in circles at full speed in front of me, I'll be able to do the commentary per usual. I'll have something to talk about without stumbling over my speech. But thank you all for tuning in for today's race. As far as tonight's action, 300 miles, 200 laps, our scheduled distance. Tomorrow's NASCAR Cup race will be 400 miles, 267 laps. So we're going to kickstart things at 2:30 p.m. Eastern tomorrow with that one. But as far as today's Xfinity race goes, we're down to just 5 races left after the conclusion of today's event. Who will punch their ticket to the round of 8? And will we see potentially multiple drivers be able to do that here today? Again, virtue of points and a possible race win. Those point standings coming into the day are scrolling across the top of the screen, and that will not be edited throughout the course of the race. So if you see that throughout the course of the action, it will stay the same, and that will be the points coming into this race specifically. Now, I'll update you the points as they run, as they show it on the CW graphic throughout the course of the action. But as far as viewing purposes on KRC and on this live commentary coverage, the points at the top, again, were coming into the event. So Connor Zilisch, the number 1 seed as of right now, plus 85 points after winning a regular season championship. Most wins by far on the season. Looking to continue dominance. He led a lot of laps at Bristol a couple weeks ago, despite not being able to get the race win. Pitted from the lead on a late caution, never got back to the front. Justin Allgaier plus 53 points above the cut. Sam Mayer plus 35, plus 16 for Carson Kvapil. And single digits separating 5th through 12th right now on the standings, or at least 5th to the cut line on the standings. Harrison Burke in 5th, plus 9, plus 8 for Brandon Jones, who starts on the pole today, and he is a multi-time Kansas winner as well. Sheldon Creed plus 7, and Taylor Gray plus 3 for JGR. Minus 3 points for both Nick Sanchez and Jesse Love. Austin Hill, the other RCR Chevy, minus 16 below the cut, and Sammy Smith minus 24 after having a DNF in that Bristol race a couple weeks back. No more off weeks the rest of the season for the Xfinity Series. It'll be 6 straight race weekends from here through early November to crown a championship to one driver in Phoenix. 12 drivers still in the hunt for that entering today. And we'll go through the starting lineup for today's Kansas Lottery 300 as well. JGR locking out the front row for both the Xfinity and Cup races this weekend. For Xfinity, it will be Brandon Jones on the pole, Taylor Gray starting in 2nd. Row number 2 will be Sam Mayer with Brendan Queen, who will be making, I believe, his 2nd start of the season for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. 2nd consecutive race as well. He ran at Bristol for Colleague, and he's here back at Kansas today. Justin Allgaier with William Sawalch will be in row 3. Row 4 for Connor Zilisch, and Raja Carruth will be making another Xfinity start. I believe his 2nd of the season as well. He'll be driving the 17 car, HendrickCars.com Chevrolet. Dean Thompson with Sheldon Creed round out the top 10 in row 5. Patrick Staropoli and Jesse Love will be in row 6. Nick Sanchez, Sammy Smith, row 7. Ryan Sieg, Justin Bonsignor, row number 8. Austin Hill, Harrison Burke, row 9. And row 10, Carson Kvapil with Christian Eckes. In row number 11, Matt DiBenedetto and Anthony Alfredo. Parker Retzlaff, Kyle Sieg, row 12. Yeah, I had that right. Jeremy Clements and Jeb Burton in row 13. Leland Honeyman, Blaine Perkins, row 14. Row 15 for Brennan Poole and Mason Massey. Austin Green, Cole Raz, row 16. Row 17, Joey Gase, Ryan Ellis. Nick Lights, Josh Williams is back at the track this weekend for Mario Gosling, where he ran before his Colleague racing days. Anyway, that's row 18, row 19, Garrett Smithley and Daniel Dye rounding out the field. So 38 cars will be starting today's Xfinity race at Kansas. Multi-time Xfinity winner at Kansas, Brandon Jones, in the place where he won both of those races. JGR will be on the front row leading the field to the green, and we are underway in the Kansas Lottery 300 here today at Kansas Speedway. Williams to Walsh nearly getting squeezed into the wall by the 11 of Brendan Queen as they got closer to the entrance of turn 1. Luckily, no contact was made. A couple of rows of 3 wide in the middle of the pack, and up at the front of the field, it's Brandon Jones from the pole, taking over the lead into 3 and 4. Sam Mayer trying to charge hard on the bottom, got a bit tight in the dirty air behind Jones. Jones giving up that outside to his teammate Taylor Gray. Gray slips above him, and at the start-finish line, it will be Taylor Gray, who I believe leads lap 1 of this race. Still side by side, though, in the way through turns 1 and 2. Jones trying to wrap the bottom on the white line of the racetrack. We'll have to slide in line behind Taylor Gray in the second spot off of turn 2. Hot, slick racetrack for both today's Xfinity race and tomorrow's NASCAR Cup race. Mid to high 80s all weekend at the Kansas Speedway. Terry Lewis, Tim Brown, Arena Sayre, John Locke, welcome to the stream. You guys are the first in the chat below. Appreciate you tuning in. Gray now leading the first 3 laps of the race and also setting the fastest lap along with that. Lap 2 of 32.028 was his best. 0.2 faster than Brandon Jones in second behind him, already losing time. We'll see some tire fall off throughout the course of the run, so that may change if Gray gets out a little bit too far ahead of the pack early on. He might end up falling backwards in the long run scheme of things. Our stage splits today, 45 laps at stage 1 and stage 2. Stage 3 will be 110 laps in length. Almost did my math wrong. Which is very similar to all the 200 lap races on mile-and-a-half tracks for the Xfinity Series. The stage splits are always the same. So again, 45, 45, and 110. Already having a lead change on that opening lap with Gray taking the lead from the pole sitter Jones, who did not lead a lap. Gray's already got a half a second advantage over Jones as well. Top 4 spots, all playoff drivers. Brendan Queen, Williams to Walsh, non-playoff drivers, 5th and 6th. Connor Zilic back at 7th, Love in 8th, Sammy Smith in 10th, and Raja Kruth right where he qualified up in the top 10 as well. Allgaier trying to strike for second place to the inside of Brandon Jones. Jones up near the wall on the outside of the racetrack now through 3 and 4, where we'll see many drivers run throughout the course of the race today. More straightaway speed when running the outside, but you are giving up the shortest route around the racetrack, which would be the bottom, giving a slight advantage to those who can wrap the bottom and wrap that white line the best, an opportunity to make passes. But as they search for grip later in the run, when tires start to fall off, that is where everybody pretty much will be running up near the wall, getting a little extra side force in the center of the corner, carrying that momentum off the progressive banking down these longer Kansas Speedway straightaways. Kansas Speedway actually has the longest straightaways of any mile-and-a-half track on the NASCAR Cup Series circuit with its configuration. It might seem cookie cutter for most mile-and-a-half tracks that they're pretty similar in banking or width of the racetrack, length of the straightaways. Not the case necessarily. Longest back straightaway in the Cup Series of a mile-and-a-half track, again, right here at Kansas. A curved front stretch versus the straight back straightaway really makes the entry point to turn 1 and turn 3 so much different from one another as well. Jones is starting to close in a little bit on Taylor Gray once he moved to the outside of the racetrack and near the wall. Still managing a couple tenths of a second gap on Allgaier for the time being, as we're on lap 8. Sammy Smith making a pass on Raja Kruth for 9th place the last time through. Sawalch sliding back to 7th as well. Connor Zilic up to 6th. And now falling out of the top 10 is Kruth, Sheldon Creed to 10th place. Or at least still battling for 10th with him. Allgaier with a dive bomb into 3 and 4. Slide job, if you will. Enters way low, rises up to the top. Jones carries momentum up off the exit of the corner. Thought about maybe doing a crossover move. Thought a little bit too late to pull out of the outside of the racetrack and cut to the inside of Allgaier. So Allgaier is going to hold on to that second spot. Defensive line by the 7. He does not go to the wall through 3 and 4. Runs the middle groove to still keep the 19 of Jones behind him. 20 car, excuse me. Jones has been in the 19 at JGR in a minute. But about 1 second off the race lead, Justin Allgaier is up to second, and we'll see if he's got anything for our race leader, Taylor Gray, who has led the first 12 laps of the event. Looks like commercial break headed on CW with their full visual purpose for airing today's race. Or you can listen live right here, flag to flag, on KRC. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Be sure to hit the like button so we can get to that goal of 50 likes by the end of the stream. We're already up to 19 in the early laps. You can vote for who you think is going to win today's race in our chat poll, which will be open until the end of stage 2, which is lap 90. Your voting options are between Connor Zilisch, Brandon Jones, and Justin Allgaier. Zilisch leading the poll at 46%. Allgaier at 29% in second. Somebody other than those three at 17% in third. And only 8% of the votes for our poll sitter, Brandon Jones. So here, Gaming and Entertainment, welcome to the stream. Are the Chiefs playing at home this weekend? Does anybody know? I have no idea. Because that might affect ticket purchases for the race today. If they're at home tomorrow, which they are, at 4:30, which is the exact same time that the race is going on. And they play the Ravens too, so yeah. Yeah, there's going to be quite a few empty seats in the grandstands tomorrow. You got the hometown Kansas City Chiefs at home against the Ravens, one of the bigger games of the season, I'm sure. Starting at 4:30 when tomorrow's race starts right around 3. Going to be a lot of overlap. Battle for the lead ongoing off the exit of turn 2. Justin Allgaier got to the inside of Taylor Gray, side drafted him down the backstretch, trying the same slide job maneuver he did on Brandon Jones several laps ago through 3 and 4. And just as he did to Brandon Jones, he'll successfully hold on in front of Gray. Gray didn't get as good of a run up off the exit of the corner as Jones did in that battle for second at the time, so zero pressure in the rearview mirror for Allgaier to try to hold on in front of Gray. Allgaier to the boards and looking to extend his lead. He's won quite a few stages this year, but he hasn't won a race since early in the season. His teammate Connor Zilisch has been taking up most of them at Junior Motorsports through the summer and early fall months. And maybe it's time for Justin Allgaier to get back to victory lane, pick up maybe his 4th win of the 2025 season as he tries to go for defending his championship that he won last year for the first time in his NASCAR Xfinity Series career. Zilisch, by the way, up to 5th place during the commercial break, was able to move up into the top 5. Jesse Love up 6 positions inside the top 10 to position number 6. Also up 6 spots for Sammy Smith at 8th, who came in 24 points below the cut line, and Austin Hill up 6 spots to 11th from where he started in 17th. Patrick Star-Poli has lost 9 positions after starting 11th, 13 spots gained for Daniel Dye, who started dead last in 38th as he sits 25th. So those are some of the biggest movers, biggest losers from the start of the race, where they qualified to where they're running, as we round out lap number 18 out of 200 here in the NASCAR Xfinity Series race at Kansas. Robert Goodrich, welcome to the stream. Why didn't I hold the start of the race for you? I'm sorry. I'm sorry I couldn't wait around for everybody to tune in right at the beginning. I'll make sure if you're not in the chat before the Cup race tomorrow to call somebody at NASCAR headquarters and tell them, wait, we got to hold on. Need a little bit more viewership here before we start this race. If I had that kind of a pole, I wouldn't be here right now. Predicting Sheldon Creed to finish second. That's a solid prediction. He has finished runner-up as much this year since going to Haas. Of course, not quite as good of equipment as what he was in his first couple seasons in the Xfinity Series at RCR, but he has had a couple of runner-ups, including, I think, at Daytona a couple weeks ago. He finished in second. Say a couple weeks ago. It was about a month and a half ago already. On screen, showing a replay of the pass for the lead between Allgaier and Gray. So 2 lead changes in the opening 18 laps. Currently lap 21 of 45. About halfway through stage 1 already. And there are some cars that have fallen off of the lead lap. Garrett Smithley in the 14. Just about to go lap down. And actually, that's about it right now. But there's going to be plenty of lap traffic from now to the end of stage 1 if we could continue to stay caution-free. Gray's fastest lap at lap 2 still holds. And Gray maybe pushing a little bit too hard early in the run because Brandon Jones, who had passed for the lead on the opening lap, is now starting to run him down for second, on top of losing time to our new race leader. Interval for the top 5 positions, 1.7 seconds for Allgaier over Taylor Gray in second. Brandon Jones 2 seconds back in third, 2.7 seconds to Sam Mayer in fourth, and Connor Zilic is 5.2 seconds off the lead at fifth. Leaderboard as they run, Connor Zilic plus 105 above the cut line. He needs to be 55 points above 8th in the standings after today to be able to clinch his way into the next round. Same would be for Justin Allgaier if he doesn't win, and Sam Mayer. All 3 of those drivers mathematically could point their way into the round of 8 after today's race without even having a win. As for everybody else, if they don't win, they're trying to put themselves in the best position possible for the Roval next week to clinch there. Survive in advance. Carson Kvapil struggling in the early laps. He's back in the 20th place position. Didn't qualify well. Started back in 19th, and he hasn't made any movement through the field. Forward or backwards, for that matter. Harrison Burton, after starting right around him in 18th place, is back 4 spots to 22nd. He did fall to 27th on the initial start, so Burton's picked up a few extra spots. Those 2 are going to have to do what they can to try to stay on the lead lap to the end of stage 1, because it is not going to be a guarantee for where they're running currently on track. We're almost 2/3 of a racetrack off of our leader, Allgaier, and Allgaier's got a quick pace. 34.239 the last lap for Allgaier. That is 2 seconds slower than his fastest lap of the race at lap 3. So already 2 seconds of fall off over the course of 25 laps to start the race today. That's why those tires are going to be important. Tire management along with it going to be important. And usually when we see tire management, any sort of race across any of the top 3 series in NASCAR, with that, you usually see veteran experience coming to the forefront. Just Allgaier, Brandon Jones, veterans of the NASCAR Xfinity Series, have been here for a minute, and they're 1 and 2. Austin Hill starting to pick spots up. He's up to 9th. It's another driver who's been in the Xfinity Series for a few years. He's up 8 spots for the start. He didn't qualify particularly well, but it's a good racetrack for him on a consistency standpoint. And he's one of the few drivers when you go to these low grip mile and a half tracks that can really wrap the inside of the racetrack well. So if he is towards the front, maybe look out for him to make passes in areas of the racetrack where drivers struggle to make the pass. Allgaier was about 2/10 quicker the last lap than Jones as well. So still growing his lead out. Other points as they run, I mentioned about the top few, Allgaier, Zilich, and Mayer, plus 36 for Brandon Jones sitting up in the top two, plus 29 for Taylor Gray, Jesse Love plus 16, plus 9 for Quapple, plus 7 for Creed, minus 7 for Harrison Burton, minus 12 for Nick Sanchez, minus 13 for Austin Hill, and minus 18 Sammy Smith. Now that's gauging that where they are running in the current leaderboard standings for this race is where they will finish stage 1, stage 2, and stage 3. So obviously that's going to alter quite a bit with it still being early in the race. Especially if we see any cautions and pit strategy to go along with those said cautions. Right now, 17 minutes in. Lap 30 is complete out of 200. Allgaier still out in front. Brandon Jones in second, Taylor Gray third, Sam Mayer fourth, fifth for Connor Zilich, Jesse Love in sixth, seventh place is Brendan Queen, Sammy Smith in eighth, Austin Hill ninth, and Raja Karuth rounds out the top 10. We'll take our first ad break in the stream. You're listening live on KRC. NASCAR Xfinity Series race coverage continues on the channel. It is worth noting that playoff points still carry over into the round of 8, so if Allgaier were to win this first stage, or any other playoff driver for that matter, if they move on to the round of 8, that playoff point will carry over with them. Same thing with the race win. On top of locking yourself into the next round, that'd be an additional 5 points for each race win in the round. Wearing the 12 hat on Sunday, of course. Yeah, I've always got my Ryan Blaney gear on Sunday. Even though it's a football season and my Packers are playing Sunday night against the Cowboys, for instance, I'm still going to wear my NASCAR stuff over football. I value racing over any other sport out there. I always say I don't consider it football season until racing's over. Racing's almost over, but it ain't over yet. We've got champions to crown over the next month or so. Butterbean Queen, yep. Second Xfinity start of the season. Its first was at Bristol 2 weeks ago. And the same ride he's in tonight, the 11 car at Colleague Racing. Qualified well, and he's still hanging on inside the top 10. Where we haven't seen a lot of Colleague drivers run this season. So great to see out of the 11. It's kind of wild that Brendan Queen is having as good of a run as he's having right now, and Josh Williams, who was in that car for about a year and a half, I don't remember on a mile and a half track ever running inside the top 10, both from start to where he's at right now, even though it's still early and it's lap 34. A lot could happen, but shows the promise. That's for sure. Butterbean got a race win last night. ARCA as well. 8th of the season, as Terry Lewis said in the chat. I haven't watched too many ARCA races this year, so I actually had no idea. Extra seat time probably helps. I'd say the ARCA and the Xfinity cars probably race more similar to one another from one series to the next in the NASCAR ranks, especially when you go to these mile and a half tracks that are low grip like a Kansas Speedway. During the commercial break, 44, Brendan Poole making contact with the 32 of Austin Green. Green got a little sideways, was able to make the save up off the exit of turn 4. And stayed green through it as we're still caution free. Lead is now 3.4 seconds for Allgaier over Jones and 5.3 seconds to Sam Mayer in third. 6.4 back to Taylor Gray in fourth, who lost a spot to Mayer during the commercial break. And Zilich now within about a half a second of the 54 again. Got to hang on for every stage point you can if you're Taylor Gray. You don't want to lose too many spots. That pay window opens up shortly. 9 laps to go this time by for stage 1. Race flying by with no caution so far. Line 1771, welcome back in. Looking forward to this race. Yeah, it should be a good one. So far, it's all Justin Allgaier cooking the field. I'd say look out for Austin Hill. 34.9 that last lap was only a 10th off of Allgaier. In the 9th place spot, he's picked up 8 spots from the start. So Hill's definitely got some good long run pace from what I'm seeing on my stat sheet. 2.5 seconds of fall off though. They had about 2 seconds over the course of 25 laps, another half a second or so for about a 15 lap stretch after that. Yeah. 5-second lead for Allgaier over Brandon Jones right now, so he is still stretching that lead out. He's not giving up anything. Playoff drivers are all on the lead lap, I do believe. Yes, all 12 of them are still in the lead lap. And that will continue to be the case because Harrison Burton is in 20th, but he's still got about a 5-second gap over Allgaier with just 2 laps to go in the stage. Biggest mover from the start, Daniel Dye, up 17 positions to 21st, as he still remains on the lead lap. Battle between Blaine Perkins and Kyle Sieg. It's currently the battle for the free pass position, assuming that Matt DiBenedetto in the 99 right in front of the leader does not go a lap down. And I don't think he will. Green-white checkered flag in the air for the first time today. Justin Allgaier will win stage 1 at the Kansas Speedway. He's never won at Kansas. We'll see if he can get that 4th win of the year and his first at the track. Brandon Jones 2nd in stage 1. Sam Mayer 3rd. Connor Zilich 4th. Taylor Gray in 5th. Brennan Queen in 6th. Jesse Love 7th. Austin Hill 8th. Sammy Smith 9th. And Dean Thompson rounds out the top 10. 1 point per position in the running order for the Stage 1 and Stage 2 results. And a playoff point for Allgaier if he advances out of the round of 12. And that will carry over for him into the round of 8, where his quest for the championship and a chance to repeat as Xfinity Series champion continues. Full screen commercial break at the end of stage 1 on the CW. We'll take a quick break of our own. You're listening live on KRC with our full flag-to-fly coverage of today's Kansas Lottery 300. Steady start to the race today. Happened to Jesse Love. Where'd he go? Yeah, he got up into the top 5, and then he fell to 7th. So he only lost a couple of spots later in the stage. Basically just lost spots to Connor Zilich and Brendan Queen over the course of the run. There's a few lap cars between Allgaier and Brandon Jones up at the front of the field. It's going to give him a little bit of an extra gap for when pit road opens, that he's going to have an easier time trying to hold on to the race lead, even with a decent stop. Doesn't have to be great for the 7 crew. Why wasn't he on the list to pick to win? Butterbean? Probably because it's only a second start at the Xfinity Series. I didn't trust him competing for the win today. He's having a good day in sixth. Not saying he won't have a good day. I just didn't expect him as a favorite for the race win. First, second, and fourth are the three guys on our list right here. Allgaier, Jones, and Zillage. I really like Brandon Jones as a sneak pick. This is one of his better racetracks. Here in Darlington seemed to be really good tracks for him in his first tenure with JGR. Had an abysmal couple of seasons at Junior Motorsports before coming back, and he got a win at Darlington earlier in the spring. And he's had several good runs, obviously, this season, but now maybe in contention for something good today. Qualified on pole, second at the end of the first stage, and for a guy that came in single-digit points above the cut line, he's definitely off to a good start. He came in +8, needs those points, and I believe he was around +29 or 30 above the cut line as they were running at the end of the first stage. The playoff drivers who did not get a top 10 in stage 1 with no stage points would be Sheldon Creed in 11th, Nick Sanchez in 16th, Carson Kvapil 18th, and Harrison Burton 20th. So 8 of the 12 playoff drivers get stage points. Really, the ones that didn't definitely needed them because they were barely above the cut line. To the likes of Jesse Love and Austin Hill, who came in below the cut line, and now they're up in the top 10. But imagine pit road will be open this time. Only NASCAR broadcast, not even turning the TV on. I appreciate you tuning in, Robert. I'm glad that you like this as your form of NASCAR coverage every weekend. Makes me feel good. Also makes me feel like what I'm doing is accurate, so that's also good. So I try to relay all my messages to you guys in live time as the race is progressing. It's the first weekend I haven't missed any of my football games because the Packers play tomorrow night after the race, and my Michigan Wolverines are on a bye. Plus, it's Kansas Speedway, which has been one of my favorite racetracks over the last couple seasons. Putting on some good racing.
Really good work by the 20 team.
Yeah, great stop by Brandon Jones. Not only they won the race out of the pits, but he had a couple car length disadvantage to Justin Allgaier because of the lap traffic coming onto pit road at the end of the stage. So great stop by the 20 crew. Jones right back to where he started the race in the lead. So that lead change in the pits will be our third lead change of the afternoon. And our first caution was this lap 45 stage end. None for incident to record thus far. A lot of racing still to go, though. So we'll end the chat poll at the end of stage 2. We'll have our diecast showing at the end of stage 2 as well today. Fun stuff in stored. Yeah, I try to look at the chat as much as I can. It's hard to do during the green flag action when they're not on commercial. Caution periods and commercials, definitely try to look back at the chat as much as possible. That's where I give the shout outs if I missed you during the many minutes of on-air coverage, so I don't miss anything. Got over 60 people in the chat. Thank you for tuning in. We're up to 30 likes already, so be sure to hit that like button so we can get to that goal of 50 here. And even if we get to 50, still hit that like button. Otherwise, if you haven't, helps the channel out a ton. On the road to 7,000 subscribers. We'll have plenty of NASCAR 25 content on the channel when that releases here in a couple of weeks. On top of the live commentary coverage from now to the end of the season. The only other race I'm going to this year is Phoenix at the end of the year. So I'll be there for all of championship weekend. I wanted to get back to Phoenix at some point for the finale, with them not having the championship race there anymore starting next season, at least the way it looks with the current schedule, and Homestead getting the finale again next year. I'm going to make that trip out to Phoenix this year. Plus, my guy Ryan Blaney's got a real shot at the championship, so that'd be pretty freaking awesome if I saw that in person. So I'll be out at Phoenix for the entire championship race weekend. So our last live commentary streams of the year will actually be Martinsville this season. And obviously race highlight videos from the grandstands will still be up on the channel for Xfinity and Cup action. Gonna be fun. As far as today's race goes, Brandon Jones back in the lead. He qualified on the pole. Taylor Gray took the lead on lap 1 from him. Justin Allgaier was able to swoop in middle of the stage, take the lead away from from Gray, and go on to win the stage by over 5 seconds. Allgaier led for 36 laps so far out of 52. Jones for 3, but none under green because Gray led the opening lap after starting second. Gray finished 5th at the end of stage 1, and he since lost 5 positions on pit road, so not a great stop for him. He led the first 13 laps of the race. So those are the only 3 drivers to lead so far, and I do believe Gray still has the fastest lap of the race. Not sure if that's going to hold, as we have some faster cars at the front of the field with fresh tires now. It's a little bit better track position and clean air for them than what they would have had at the start. Bam Hall, welcome into the stream. So for the restart, top half dozen, Brandon Jones leads, Justin Allgaier second, Sam Mayer third, Connor Zilic fourth, Austin Hill fifth, and William Sawalich in sixth. 53 of 200. Yeah, it seems like Justin Allgaier doesn't win the races where he leads a lot of laps and wins the first couple stages. Kind of falls behind in the end compared to other drivers. The races he does win are kind of vice versa, where second, third, fourth, the whole race. Leads a bit, but not many laps, and he's there towards the end. It's exactly how he won at Homestead earlier this season. Kyle Larson dominated that race. And then Sam Mayer was pretty much in second the whole time, too. With how poor that one team is running right now, and Sammy Smith not having a great start to the round in the first race at Bristol, it's a real possibility we might only see 2 Junior Motorsport Chevys in the round of 8, despite the fact that they've won as many races as they have this season. Quapple not a single win yet this year. Sammy Smith does have one, which came at Rockingham after Jesse Love got DQ'd from that race back on Easter weekend. Then obviously the 3 for Allgaier, the 9 for Connor Zilic. Kyle Larson's got a win for him. SVG's got a win. It's been a great season for Junior Motorsports. Larson's actually got 2 wins. Showing a replay of Taylor Gray's pit stop to see exactly where they lost time, and it looked like they were having problems trying to get the right front tire off. Lengthy enough stop that he loses enough positions, puts him back a few extra rows on the restart. And he's got great fire off and short run pace, so we'll see if he can get any of those spots back initially. But even if he does, can he hang on for the long run? Help the balance of that race car. In doing so, that he could take care of those rear tires a bit better. Because if he's going to want to hang on in the top 10, he's definitely going to have to do that. All right, pace car is about to exit turn 4 and head for pit road as it takes a huge left-hand turn. Brandon Jones will take the outside of row 1 this time. He lost the lead from the inside earlier. So doing something a bit different. Allgaier inside of row 1. Green flag back in the air. And Allgaier's got his teammate Connor Zilic to push him. Sam Mayer in the 41 on the outside behind Jones. Nose to nose between the 7 and the 20. Allgaier might have leaned on the 20 just a bit. Either way, Jones is not firing off well for the restarts. Allgaier leads up out of turn 2. 3 wide just behind them around 4th between Austin Hill, Sammy Smith, and Connor Zilic. Zilic in the middle. 8 down low, the 21 up high. 41 to Sam Mayer nearly bounces off the wall on the exit of turn 4, and Sammy Smith is going to get to 3rd underneath him. And that boxes in Zilic and Hill, who are still side by side for a 5th spot out of the rearview mirrors of both the 8 and the 41. Smith is clear for 3rd up out of turn 2. Zilic clear on Austin Hill as well for 5th spot. And Taylor Gray got 3 positions back after losing 5 in the pits from 10th to 7th. And quickly attacks to the inside of Austin Hill through 3 and 4 for 6th. Same on the inside goes the 41 of Mayer with Sammy Smith in the 8. Lap 12 of 45 in stage 2, lap 57 of 200 total in the race. Mayer with the dive bomb. Inside of the racetrack slides well clear up onto the exit of turn 4 in front of Sammy Smith. Gray did win that battle, by the way, on Austin Hill for 6th about a lap or 2 ago. Rajah Caruth losing positions on the outer lane of the racetrack, qualified inside the top 10. And he is currently just outside the top 10, right around 11. Jeb Burton, meanwhile, has gone for a spin. Caution flag is out for the first time.
Driver 7.
Brandon Jones spins his tires on the restart a bit after contact from behind by Sammy Smith on the outside lanes. Green flag back in the air, though Jones still stays with the 7 of Allgaier as they header turn 1 side by side. At the front of the pack, it is Brandon Jones with the lead up out of turn 2. Hasn't led a green flag lap today. We'll see if he can hold on through 3 and 4. As he bests the 7 on the restart, despite not really firing out of the restart zone itself very good. Allgaier closes the gap a bit through 3 and 4, but unable to put the pressure on Jones enough to make the pass. Lap 20 of stage 2, still 26 laps to go in that said stage. Connor Zilic trying to press forward. He's up to 4th. Sammy Smith losing a couple positions. Taylor Gray sliding way up the racetrack, nearly making contact with Sammy Smith in that said battle. Front of the field now, Justin Allgaier through 3 and 4. Going to slide up and make a pass on Jones. That has been the bread and butter for Justin Allgaier. The few times he's had to make passes for position today, whether that be for the lead or even on Jones for 2nd earlier in stage 1. Allgaier will get up off the exit of the corner out of turn 2 to the inside of a race car and then make the dive bomb pass through 3 and 4 with the slide job. And he's been successful all 3 times I've seen him try that so far today. Helps when you have probably the best car in the field, which is what he was able to show and put on the forefront back in the opening frame. And already after taking the lead just a couple laps ago, he's already up 0.6 of a second over Brandon Jones in second. Sam Mayer 0.7 back in third. Connor Zilic 1.3 seconds off the lead in fourth. We'll be officially halfway through stage 2 this time by. Be lap 23 of 45. Is it 7? Well, it might be, because Justin Allgaier has definitely dominated this race so far. I haven't seen anybody by the eye test that looks like they can't compete for speed with him. I alluded that maybe Austin Hill has some long run speed. He's only made his way up to 7th with these couple of restarts early in stage 2. Though he seems to be better in the long run than the short run. And we haven't had that long run in the second stage yet. Started 18th. It's up to 7th. Top 8 are all playoff drivers, by the way. 9th and 10th are not of Dean Thompson and Raja Karut, though. Dean Tate, welcome to the stream. Understand the need for multiple sponsors during a season, but I find it difficult. It is kind of hard to track certain cars, especially when they show up to the same weekend. If they're teammates with one another, they'll already kind of have that similar number font, and then they have a similar sponsor/paint scheme on top of it. I don't know how many times I've gotten some of the Penske cars mixed up throughout the course of the last couple of years, where the two will have like a PPG scheme, and I'll think it's Blaney. Or the few times that Blaney's had a discount tire scheme in recent years, I'll just automatically think that it's Austin Cindric when it's not. They both have Menards on their cars from time to time. That's even me being a Ryan Blaney fan. Where I'm trying to single him out, maybe focus on him a little more if I'm like at the race or whatnot. Lose him sometimes and compare him for his teammate. Far from the only one. It's just like when we have like 3 Bass Pro Shop cars in the field for a random race. They posting Butterbean for the restart violation? Or do you get forced out of line? He was 6th at the end of stage 1. And I don't think he ended up with a restart violation, but he definitely got shuffled out of line enough that he lost a lot of time, because now Brendan Queen's back to 16th. Should have lost some spots on pit road as well. Exactly, and I'm getting old, yeah. And I'd like to consider myself not old, and I still get confused. Easy to do. Yeah, Jesse Love just keeps fading. He's now back to 11th. Put in a battle for 10th with Caruth, which is the last position that awards stage points. Yeah, I don't have that diecast, by the way, Robert. Not going to be seeing that from me. I'm still debating on which one I'm going to show during the live commentary stream today, though. I want to save the newer ones that I got at Bristol for the Cup races. I showed off the Ricky Rudd Tide Ride scheme from last week. His number 10 car from 1998. So I think I'm going to save the other Cup Series ones for the next couple of weeks. I ended up getting 3 diecasts when I was there. I'm definitely getting a new Ryan Blaney diecast when I go to Phoenix. I don't have a next-gen one yet, and I need to get a Blaney one. I haven't gotten a Blaney diecast since 2021. I need to get his championship-winning race car, and then I'll try to look to see if there's any schemes that are like from this year, maybe. When I was at Phoenix the last time, I didn't notice many of the t-shirt vendors, or tent vendors, if you will, outside of the racetrack, like I've seen at several other NASCAR races. So it might not be able to really look for many classic ones anyway. Race recap. 6 lead changes, 2 cautions, lap 45, and then just before lap 60 in the middle of this stage, that was the only caution for incident. It was a spin from Jeb Burton, who at the time was in 27th. Since then, Burton is 2 laps down in 37th. Only car out of the race, Nick Lights, pulled off the track about 35 laps ago in 38th. Currently 26 cars on the lead lap. And Justin Allgaier led the most today on top of winning stage 1, 59 laps later. Pole sitter Brandon Jones has led for 6 laps. And 13 for Taylor Gray at the start of the race after beginning in 2nd place. We'll go through the full field running order now with about 12 to go in stage 2. Justin Allgaier leads by 1.2 seconds over Brandon Jones, which is a lot closer than what it was in stage 1 because Allgaier ended up winning that said stage by about 5+ seconds. Sam Ayers 3.2 seconds back in 3rd, and Connor Zilic in 4th is 4.8 seconds off the lead. Taylor Gray rounds out the top 5 in 5th. He's 5.9 seconds back. Then Sammy Smith is in 6th, Austin Hill 7th, Dean Thompson 8th, Sheldon Creed 9th, and Justin Bonsignor rounds out the top 10. Raja Caruth in 11th, Jesse Love 12th, Christian Eck is 13th, William Sawalch 14th, and Nick Sanchez 15th. 16th is Brendan Queen, Harrison Burton 17th, Patrick Staropoli 18th, Ryan Sieg 19th, Carson Quapple 20th, Anthony Alfredo 21st, Parker Retzlaff 22nd, Matt DiBenedetto 23rd, Daniel Dye 24th, Kyle Sieg 25th, Blaine Perkins 26th, Brendan Poole 27th, 28th for Leland Honeyman, Cole Raz 29th, and Austin Green 30th. Mason Massey 31st, Jeremy Clements 32nd, Ryan Ellis 33rd, Josh Williams 34th, Joey Gase 35th, Garrett Smithley 36th, and Jeb Burton 37th. I just mentioned Nick Lights 38th. Rounding out our 38-car field. Just under an hour in, lap 81 of 200, lap 36 of 45 in stage 2. I'll tell you what, I woke up between streams. I made sure I got more water in me, got a little bit more food. And I have just been riding the struggle bus today. I should have left and gotten an iced coffee between streams is what I should have done. I had time, and I thought about it, but I was like, you know what, I'm fine. I'll just get up, walk around a little bit. I think it's just a little bit warmer in my room, kind of feeling like the summer this weekend. It's a bit warmer again. And I've been used to it being comfortable in my room for the last 3 or 4 weeks doing these live commentary streams. I think that's getting to me. I was up late last night too. That doesn't help. Dean Thompson having a pretty solid run today in 8th place. His Truck Series tenure, it seemed like his better runs were on the 1.5-mile racetracks, and almost kind of the case in recent intermediate track races for Thompson in the 26. He's looking to make a pass for 7th on Austin Hill, and I do believe he's coming in off a top 10 at Bristol a couple weeks ago. Obviously, he's not in the playoffs, but stellar run for Thompson. Made a clean pass for 3 and 4 on Hill. I definitely don't think Hill's got anything for Justin Allgaier. He hasn't broken into the top 5 yet. Brandon Jones has gotten a little bit closer to Allgaier on speed, and he did beat him on 1 restart. But on long run situations, still the 7 is the one to beat. Freedom of speech is great. Freedom to hit the dislike button if I don't like the diecast. Could you imagine if people actually did that to me every weekend? It's like I'll show off like a I don't know, a Joey Logano diecast. I actually don't have a Joey Logano 124 scale diecast, but just like trying to think of a guy that universally NASCAR fans don't like. Freaking people are disliking the stream just because I show off Logano diecast or something. Denny Hamlin. That's funny. It's a funny concept. All right, 5 laps to go in stage 2. Brandon Jones has closed in just a bit. Some of that might be Justin Allgaier managing his gap, knowing he doesn't have to necessarily push too hard to get this stage win. Frederico Sanchez, welcome to the stream. Yeah, I've not been one to necessarily over speculate what I think they're going to do with the points format starting next season. I know there has been talkings pretty much since the off season last year that there was a subject to have some sort of a points format change. The only one they technically made during the offseason last year was the fact that there's a bonus point awarded to the fastest lap of the race now. But otherwise, everything else is still the same. I'll believe it when I see it. It's kind of the way I am with sports media nowadays across the board. Because I feel like there's so many things that just get rumored. And until it's actually official or announced official, I just kind of take everything with a grain of salt. Just like Tim Brown for mentioning the unmentionable. A little less than 2 seconds now. Final lap of the stage, though. Again, no need for Allgaier to push extremely hard here. Keep himself out of trouble. Some veteran presence showing. Green, white, checkered flag in the air for the second time today. Justin Allgaier will sweep the stages at Kansas. He's led for 71 out of 90 laps. Great start. Can he seal the deal by sweeping the stages? 7 playoff point performance would be awesome for him to carry up into the next round. He's probably going to have enough points with the 2 stage wins, even if he has a decent finish, that he points his way into the round of 8 without a win today. But a win obviously completely secures that spot. So Allgaier first, Brandon Jones second, Sam Mayer third, Connor Zilic fourth, and Sammy Smith rounds out the top 5 for stage 2. 6th through 10th had 6th place Taylor Gray, Dean Thompson 7th, Austin Hill 8th, Sheldon Creed 9th, Justin Bonsignore up to 10th. And the number 19 for JGR, who's coming in off a win with Eric Almirola a week ago. And I do believe that 19 car was in the owners' playoffs because Almirola won at Phoenix back in the spring. So let me check the owner standings real quick. But those are going to be a little bit different from the driver standings. Yeah, so the 19 team for the owners' championship would have been in the playoffs. And they would be in over AM Racing in that number 25 entry, which Harrison Burton is going for the drivers' championship. So Harrison Burton's going for the drivers' championship, but that 25 team not going for the owners' playoffs, where the 19 teams in. That's the only spot that's different from driver to owner standings. And again, the points at the start of the race today up at the top of the screen. And those are the points as how they stood coming into the event. Pete Kramer, welcome to the stream. Who start Poli P20? Not bad. I've seen him in several truck races this year, and I think he runs full-time at ARCA. I know he's in ARCA a lot. So correct me in the chat if I'm wrong on him running full-time or not. I don't watch every ARCA race. I believe he's also an eye doctor from Texas. Just a guy that likes to race on the weekends and trying to break his way into NASCAR. But yeah, having a pretty solid run. The couple ARCA races I have seen this year, he's had pretty good runs there. And Truck Series, he's kind of flirted with top 10s on the road courses. But if he can pull off a solid finish in an Xfinity car for Sam Hunt Racing, which he's in right now, that'd be even better for him, I think. Haven't seen him in this good of equipment yet. And even right now, it's kind of middle of the road because his teammate Dean Thompson, isn't a playoff driver, for instance, and is a full-time competitor at Sam Hunt Racing. Though Thompson having a good run today, as I mentioned already, 7th place at the end of the second stage. So on to stage 3 here today at Kansas. Long ways to go yet. Just over half the race remaining. Stage break is now our third caution. Last guaranteed yellow. After these pit stops, I believe all these teams are still going to have 2 sets of tires left to the end of the race. And they will have to pit for fuel purposes at some point between now and the finish as well. Wow.
Weekend. We'll see if the 88.
That's a good, impressive streak going for the rookie Connor Zilic. Well before he even broke through and started winning a bunch of races through the summer months. He had a win early in the season at COTA, but again, Rockingham, Easter weekend, the last time he has not led a lap in a race. Hasn't led so far today, but he takes the lead on the restart initially for Brandon Jones as he's clear up out of turn 2. One car brushes the wall in the outside lane. Might have been Justin Bonsignor in the 19. Tough to tell for sure. Jones not going to be able to fight for the race lead with Zilic. And for the first time today, Zilic leads up out of the exit of turn 4 still. Back to the line. Lap 100 here today at Kansas. Now the question is how long can Connor Zilic hold on to the lead for? Because he hasn't really had the long run speed that both the 7 and the 20 have had. As Zilic tries to go for his 10th win of the season. And 11th of his career, as he had his first win of his Xfinity career in his debut last season at Watkins Glen. Points as they stand here early in stage 3 have Zilic in the race lead. Then Justin Allgaier plus 79, plus 57 for Sam Mayer, plus 35 for Brandon Jones. And I didn't get through the rest of the graphic in time, so I'll highlight that again a little bit later on next time they show it. Well, contact on the restart between Christian Eckes and Roger Caruth on the apron. Both drivers were trying to fight for positions going through the tri-oval. Didn't get the diecast showing out during stage 2, so shortly thereafter, here is a Kevin Harvick 2007 Shell Pennzoil Chevrolet. Same paint scheme he won the 2007 Daytona 500 with. And really the same paint scheme that he had for a couple years there in the late 2000s at RCR. One of many Kevin Harvick diecasts that I own as far as the 124 scale. So, I don't know, just figured I'd show this one off today. I haven't showed this one off on the channel in a while, so. Show it off here. Final year of the Nextel Cup Series. Their short few year stint that they had as the title sponsor for NASCAR's top series. Allgaier has the worst picker. Definitely not a good one. Not today, at least. 5 positions lost in the pits for Allgaier after winning stage 2, and he's still back at 6th. He has not gained any spots. We haven't really seen Allgaier in traffic today, though, because he's led almost the entire race. So could be struggling a little bit more, which could help him for when they have to make adjustments on this final stop, knowing that they will have to pit at least one more time. Maybe twice, depending on how cautions may lay out in stage 3, but they're guaranteed to have to pit for fuel at least one more time. Brandon Jones up on the outside of the racetrack through 1 and 2 has a major run after Connor Zilic ran the bottom of the track down on the white line. Momentum down the backstretch for Jones, a little bit of draft as well. He's within about a car length and a half to 2 car lengths. Zilic now not running all the way near the wall, but maybe half a lane off of it, trying to get a little bit of dirty air on the nose of the 20. Jones is still trying to chase him from behind. Rest of those cutoff standings, by the way, so I left off with Taylor Gray in 5th. He's plus 16 in points, Quapple plus 14, plus 12 for Sheldon Creed, and Jesse Love plus 4, who came into the day minus 14. Harrison Burton, who came in plus 9, is minus 4. Austin Hill, who was minus 18, is now minus 6. Nick Sanchez minus 6, minus 11 for Sammy Smith. And Smith's had a pretty solid day today. Up inside the top 5 for most of it. Came in minus 24. Tight battle for the lead continues between Zilic and Jones. 94 laps to go in the final stage today at Kansas. Yeah, Tim's not going to be hitting the unlike button like Kevin Harvick diecast for today. Hopefully I do just as good of a job tomorrow with the new one that I got. There are 2 more new ones to show. The one for tomorrow is one of my all-time favorites. I will say that. And I was not able to get my hands on a diecast of it until yesterday. Or a couple weeks ago. I don't know why I said yesterday. Hard to believe it's been 2 weeks since I've been at Bristol already. Time flies when you're having fun. Brandon Jones lost a lot of momentum up off the exit of turn 4 that last lap. I think he either grazed the wall or nearly got into it and had to lift. He was very wide. And now he's 7/10 off of Zilic after really being right on his back bumper for a couple of laps. Top 5 in the running order early in this final stage with 90 laps to go as Connor Zilic in the lead, Brandon Jones in 2nd, Sammy Smith 3rd, Austin Hill 4th, and Justin Allgaier in 5th. And Allgaier, by the way, 4.5 seconds off the race lead. 3.9 back for Hill, 2.4 seconds back for Sammy Smith, Jones 9/10 back, and Zilic leads for the first time today. Still early into this final stage, so we're nowhere near the long run speed. Got about 2 seconds of fall off over 25 green flag laps. Had about a second of that fall off so far at this point in the run. So still far from the worst. They're also going to have to go longer on this set of tires to get to about the midway point of stage 3 if we had a long enough green flag run. Instead of going 45 laps in stage 1, which went caution-free. Probably going to have to go about 55 laps to begin the stage. Might see some drivers pit as soon as that window opens with about 60 to go, but at the very least, for tire purposes, most of the field will be coming down right around halfway. Nesquik car was always cool as a kid. Oh yeah, Jeff Green. Yeah, that one's a good one. I don't want to spoil my diecast for tomorrow, but it's a good one. I'm a little biased as to why it's one of my favorite schemes, but I've been looking for it for so long. Really, ever since I started collecting these 124 scale die casts, and I've not been able to find it. It all started with Bristol back in 2021, where I really started to go gung-ho on getting die casts at the racetrack, and finally found it. It took about 4 years. It's a prized possession of mine now. It was more expensive than I thought it was going to be. I think I got robbed there, but I needed it. I needed it for my own self-pleasure. And now I get to look at it every day. Glowing in the case. Collecting dust behind me.
Remember you?
Latte for Jan. No, all right. NASCAR Xfinity Series race coverage continues. Sorry, I was refilling my water back up again. Thought I could get back before the commercial break came to an end. That was not the case, but we are here. Connor Zillett still in the lead. He's got about a little over a second gap to Brandon Jones in second all of a sudden. Sammy Smith is in third. Austin Hill fourth. Justin Allgaier rounds out the top five in fifth. Sixth place is Sam Mayer, Sheldon Creed seventh, Jesse Love eighth, Taylor Gray ninth, and Dean Thompson rounds out the top 10. Trying to hold back a sneeze. Jeez Louise. I think my allergies kicking my tail today is another reason why I'm kind of run down and tired. I had this issue last weekend too. Just can't get out of the allergic way, I guess. Good old fall weather. 75 laps to go at the Kansas Speedway. As our full flag to flag coverage continues, we'll take a quick break and continue our live commentary coverage. I didn't close the chat poll off until just now. 71 votes were casted. 58% of those 71 votes taking Connor Zillett for the race win today. He currently leads. 20% of you said somebody other than Allgaier, Jones, or Zillett. Allgaier had 27% of the votes earlier after winning the second stage, though. He still dropped back to 16%. And Brandon Jones, who's been pretty much second place the whole day, first behind the 7 and now behind the 88, getting 6% of the votes. I'm a wizard. My top three have pretty much looked like the three best cars. I'm proud of my Brandon Jones pick. I did my research on that one. Tomorrow should be more racy. I would expect so. There just aren't as many competitive cars in the Xfinity Series on a week-to-week basis than what we have in Cup. And the Cup races on mile and a half tracks have been the best with the next-gen car, bar none. I've had a lot of fun calling the Kansas races. The Kansas Spring races the last 2 years, 2023 and 2024, were my favorite races of the season. I think the Coke 600 is still my favorite race of the year. Michigan was up there. Michigan was a lot of fun. Being there in person probably enhanced that one a little bit more. And the Bristol Night Race, for a plethora of different reasons, was a lot of fun last week, I thought. I don't know that I would put that up in the top couple, but the fact that I was at two of my favorite races of the season as far as like what I thought were better races, I'll take that. I don't know that Phoenix is going to rank up there, but I'll give it a go. I've seen a NASCAR 25 ad currently on the side of the side-by-side commercial break. This is the first NASCAR 25 ad I think I've seen on television before. The hype is real. Has been for a minute. We'll have some NASCAR 25 coverage during the week on the channel, and then obviously during the off-season while there's no racing going on. Austin Sullivan, welcome into the stream. Yeah, Toyotas look very quick this weekend. It's going to be Toyotas or Kyle Larson, in my opinion, winning tomorrow's race. Zilch's lead down to 0.6 of a second. Going to have about 40 laps to go on the restart. We'll wait for our leaderboard to shake up. Justin Allgaier stays out of the race, or stays out of the pit, so he will consume the race lead. And we'll see about anybody else if he was the only one to stay out or not. The only driver who stayed on the racetrack long enough to catch that caution in the middle of the green flag pit cycling was the 11 of Brendan Butterbean Queen. He did not win the race off of pit road, but he's still going to be up there in the top 10. And of those on equal and fresh tires as everybody else. Probably had to stop for a little bit more fuel. Lengthen the pit stop out just a bit for the 11 team. Tire wear's been so high today. Staying out 40 to go is ridiculous. We'll see. We'll see. Mayer stayed out too. Even on older tires. It's not so much, you're expecting that you're not going to be able to keep pace with them on this restart, but all these teams only have one set of tires left. So by Allgaier and Sam Mayer staying out of the pits, if we go 20 laps to catch another caution, they're going to be the only two drivers that have to come to pit road for fresh tires because everybody else already used them. And they were the only two that stayed out. So third place on back will have 4 fresh Goodyears. We're going to have about 40 to go. And there's only 18 cars on the lead lap. So in the event of a caution, after several laps, Allgaier and Mayer can pit for fresh tires. And they will be restarting in the middle of the pack. Risk versus reward. It's definitely a risk for them. Our like goal for today's live commentary stream is 50 likes, so be sure to hit the like button if you haven't yet. We're at 47 right now. We'll take a quick break while we await the restart late at Kansas Speedway for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Oh, man. Holding back a sneeze again. I'll tell you what, it's 2 weeks in a row I've had some bad allergies on the weekend with the live commentary streams. I'm sick of it. I was fine during the week. And then go figure, I have to stream again today. Here we are. Yeah, this is definitely going to be interesting. See how this plays out. I mean, it's a big guessing game as to whether we get a caution or not. We've had a lot of long green flag runs, but in typical, NASCAR race fashion, especially at the Xfinity or the Truck Series, we catch cautions in a situation like this. It's very easy for us to get more yellows between now and the finish with everybody bunched back together again. The problem also lies, if they're expecting to catch another caution, we have to get at least a decent amount of laps in first. Because if we only go about 4 or 5 laps to catch a yellow, they're not going to have that much of an advantage on tires, so they're probably going to end up having to stay out again. Unless they lose too many positions anyway, and at that point, they've lost the race. So not only you're banking on another caution, but you're banking on us having to go at least 10 plus laps before that yellow under green. All right. Should be getting the 1 to go signal this time by. Allgaier elects the outside lane for the restart. Inside lane will be Sam Mayer. Brandon Jones, Connor Zilic, third and fourth. Fifth will be Sammy Smith. And we'll have exactly 38 laps to go. So Mayer will be on the inside of row 1. So both the drivers on old tires are going to be out in front of both lines on the restart. That could stack things up wildly from row 2 on back. Got about 12 laps or so on their tires. Green flag difference at least. That's quite a bit here at Kansas. We've seen about 2 seconds of fall off over the course of a 25 lap stretch, so about 12, half of that, they're probably going to be almost a second slower than the rest of the pack. Who will get to the lead first of those on fresh Goodyears? Allgaier with the launch, middle of the restart zone, green flag back in the air. Mayer did not take off well at all. That stacks up Connor Zilic, who has to go to the apron to try to make it 3 wide underneath the 41, while the 20's got a clear pathway up high. Big momentum up off the exit of turn 2 for Jones. Allgaier slides up in front of him, but too far wide. Jones crosses over to the bottom, and he'll take the lead down the backstretch with Connor Zilic following into second, and Austin Hill to a race-high third-place position, and Sammy Smith also moving by the 7 for fourth, as Allgaier and Mayer continue to go backwards. Didn't take long. Wasn't expecting it to. A half a lap at the most. Brandon Jones out to the lead. Allgaier now has fallen out of the top 5. Mayer has fallen out of the top 10. All on the hopes that we catch another caution. Big risk for both of them. Now, they are both pretty comfortably above the cut line on points. And Allgaier still's got a very good shot of actually pointing his way into the next round, but the risk to try to go for that win. Mayer's 48 points to the good with where he's running right now, and Allgaier plus 77. Have to be at least 54 points above the cut line. Sorry, not the cut line, but above 8th at the end of the race to secure another playoff spot for the next round. Allgaier out of the top 10. No surprise that was going to happen if we stayed green long enough. Now the big thing is can they stay on the lead lap before we catch a caution late? Because that can be problematic. Battle for the lead with 35 laps to go. Connor Zilic, who actually took off on the last restart, got to the lead on Brandon Jones before Jones ran him down before the green flag stops. Is putting pressure on the short run yet again. Don't have to go quite as far on tires this time. 38 laps if it stays green to the finish instead of about 50 to 60, which they ran prior to the last set of pit stops. Zilic to the apron after getting stalled out behind the 41 of Mayer just a little bit, allowed for Jones to have a clear pathway to get to the lead quickly. But once Zilic got free of the 41 car in the center of 1 and 2 as they were getting up to speed, he got back to the back bumper of the 20 very quick, and he's been there ever since. 21 of Austin Hill was there, but he's fallen about a second off the lead. Zilic drives it in deep to the bottom of the racetrack through 3 and 4. 33 laps to go this time by. Up off the exit of the corner. He's so close that left rear corner panel. Can't stay to the inside of the 20, so he will not be able to utilize the side draft down the front stretch. So Brandon Jones leads by about a 10th or so at the line the last time by over Zilic. Zilic in second. 9/10 back is Austin Hill in third. Sammy Smith 1.2 seconds off the lead at fourth and 1.6 back for Sheldon Creed in fifth. Taylor Gray is 1.7 seconds off the lead in sixth, and Jesse Love 2.6 back in seventh. Brendan Queen in 8, 3 seconds off the lead. Daniel Dye 9, 3.4 seconds back after starting dead last. Great day for Dye. And Nick Sanchez rounds out the top 10 at 3.5 seconds off the lead. Points as they run. Plus 107 for Zilic, plus 71 for Allgaier, and obviously Jones leads if he wins. He's in the next round. He only came in plus 8. Taylor Gray plus 18 as we run. Sam Mayer plus 47. Sheldon Creed plus 14, plus 9 for Carson Quapple and Jesse Love. Last driver in plus 7. He came in minus 3. His teammate Austin Hill is minus 7. First driver out after coming in minus 18. Sammy Smith, who came in minus 24, is down minus 14, but still in 12th in the standings. He's in fourth, 2 seconds off the lead. Nick Sanchez right around 7 points back as well. So that is the point standings outlook with how the drivers are running in the running order right now. And obviously all the stage points that were scored in the first 2 stages of the race accumulated with that. Here's Justin Bonsignore following his crash.
But it's paid off now.
Yeah, consistently almost a 10th quicker for Brandon Jones a lap versus the 88 of Zilic. Jones's teammate Taylor Gray back up into the top 5 to 5th after making a pass recently on Sheldon Creed. Creed battles back to the inside of Gray, though, for that spot. Bottom of the racetrack for Creed, middle groove, as Gray couldn't go to the outside near the wall with the lap car up there off the exit of the corner. Creed is clear for the 5th spot. So 28 laps to go. Zilich now 6 to 7 tenths off of Brandon Jones. 2 tenths quicker than Zilich the last time by. 3 tenths faster than the 3rd place car, Austin Hill. And as for Justin Allgaier and Sam Mayer, staying out of the pits. They're 13th and 15th. Allgaier 11 seconds off the lead, and Mayer 15.2 off the lead. And that's only over the course of about 11 laps. It stays great at the end. There's a chance they go a lap down. They were all hoping for another caution. Another problem is you don't want the caution to come out with only like a few laps left in the race, because then they're not going to have enough laps to get to the front. Everybody else would have to be forced to stay out or take the qualifying scuffs, which are not going to be as quick. It's the 4 fresh Goodyears. Who was it? Wasn't it Robert in the chat that said something about Sheldon Creed finishing 2nd today? Again, he's putting a battle with Sammy Smith on for 4th. Zilich kind of faded at the end of the last long green flag run, so maybe there's a chance that Creed gets the 3rd. I think if it stays green, I don't think he's catching 2nd. It's because I have seen decent enough long run speed out of Austin Hill today. Not as great as I thought it was going to be from the start, but now he's got a little bit better track position in 3rd. Salvage something out of it. I have no idea how many career wins off the top of my head that Brandon Jones has. Two of them came here. He's got 6. Brandon Jones has 6 career wins in the Xfinity Series. 2 of them at Kansas. He's looking for a 3rd today. And he's got 2 of them at Darlington now after a 2nd there earlier this season. "22 laps to go this time by. 13 laps to go this time by for Brandon Jones at the Kansas Speedway. He's got a 1.9 second lead over Connor Zilich. 3rd place is Austin Hill. 4th for Sammy Smith. Sheldon Creed rounds out the top 5 and 6th. Currently Taylor Gray in 6th spot, behind Sheldon Creed in 5th. And then Jesse Love in 7th. Brendan Queen 8th. Nick Sanchez in 9th. Dean Thompson rounds out the top 10. Daniel Dye in 11th. William Sawalich 12th. Justin Allgaier is settled in 13th. Christian Eck is 14th. Carson Kvapil 15th. 16th for Sam Mayer. Kyle Segan 17th. Raja Karuth is the last car in the lead lap in 18th. And Ryan Sieg 19th. Harrison Burton in 20th. They're battling for the free pass position currently. Leland Honeyman 21st. Patrick Staropoli 22nd. Matt DiBenedetto 23rd. Josh Williams 24th. 25th, Anthony Alfredo. Ryan Ellis 26th. Parker Retzlaff 27th. Brendan Poole 28th. Austin Green 29th. Jeb Burton 30th. 31st, Mason Massey. Jeremy Clements 32nd. Joey Gase 33rd. Blaine Perkins 34th. Garrett Smithley 35th. Cole Raz 36th. 2 drivers out of the race. Justin Bonsignor, who crashed earlier in Stage 3, is 37th. And Nick Lights Mechanical issues pulled off the track earlier. He's 60 laps down at 38th, and I believe he is back on the racetrack. Brandon Jones is currently led for 44 laps, second most in the race. Second place, Connor Zilic is led for 42. 13 for Taylor Gray, 8 for Brendan Queen, 1 for Nick Sanchez, 3 for Christian Eckes during green flag pit stops. Justin Allgaier won the first 2 stages today. 79 laps led for him. He was running 4th at the time of the last caution, chose to stay out of the pits, conserve that last set of tires. Same for Sam Mayer. So in the event of a late caution, they can pit for fresh tires. Nobody else can. They're all out for the rest of the race unless they were to come down and take scuffs. But I've seen enough races in the past for that certain sequence, and it doesn't seem like the scuffs are anywhere near as quick. You might as well just stay out anyway and maintain track position at all costs. Brendan Queen battling with Nick Sanchez. I believe that pass was made for 9th by Sanchez. 8th place, rather. Queen has fallen to 9th. Good run in just a second. Xfinity start, though, for Brendan Queen. He's top running of the college Chevys. All 3 of them. Outrunning 2 rookies of Daniel Dye and Christian Eckes that have been running the full season. 2.5 second lead now. Probably going to get a battle for second before long. Zilic is 2.5 seconds off the lead, but then 3 seconds back is Hill, so there's only about a half a second gap between those two. And Austin Hill needs these points way more than Connor Zilic. Zilic over 100 points to the good as we run. Hill -8. Coming in -18. He's picked up some points. He's going to have another solid performance though next week if he's going to want to get back above the cut line. The problem is the guy he's chasing is his teammate Jesse Love. They're the first drivers in and the first drivers out. Seven to go now for Brandon Jones at the front of the pack. Raja Karuth, an 18th last on the lead lap, is probably going to go lap down this time by. If not out of turn 2, it'll be off turn 4. So that'll put 17 cars on the lead lap. In the event of a caution now for the 41 and the 7, they're probably only going to have 2 laps to get to the front because I believe if we catch a caution this late in the race, it's probably going to push us past the scheduled distance and into overtime. And Karuth is sliding all over the place. So I'm struggling behind the 20 car after Jones put him a lap down. 6 to go. Sheldon Creed also catching the 8 of Sammy Smith for 4th. So a couple battles inside the top 5 could be brewing late. Just none of them will be a battle for the race win, barring a late restart. 5 to go at the line now for Brandon Jones. Still great redemption for Jones. He missed the playoffs as a full-time Xfinity driver the last 2 seasons when he jumped over to junior motorsports after winning 5 career races and a few seasons at JGR at the Xfinity Series. And after just abysmal, to say the least, seasons back-to-back, he goes back to JGR. He wins a race early in the year at Darlington, now looking to win another one here today at Kansas. And this is why he went back. And it's good to see him back in his winning form as well. In a season where JGR just hasn't looked themselves in the Xfinity Series. Eric Almirola with a couple wins and a part-time effort. And Jones looking for just the team's 4th win of the season as an organization. In a year that has been dominated at this level by Junior Motorsports. 3 to go now for Brandon Jones. Still nearly a 3-second lead. Battle for 4th is closer than the battle for 2nd. And that battle for 4th again is between Creed and Sammy Smith. Sitting at 16 lead changes late. And only 2 cautions for incident. 1 in stage 2 and 1 in stage 3. Be a 38-lap green flag run to the checker without a caution late. Waiting for a phantom caution. I don't think it's coming. It's been a pretty green race almost all the way through. Almost too predictable. Oh boy, lap car got sideways out of turn 4. Who was that? It was a 71 of Ryan Ellis. He made a great save. I think he might have tagged the right rear corner panel against the wall out of turn 4, and I think that straightened him out. That was right in front of the race leader. Jeez. Brandon Jones like, give me that white flag. He's going to get it, though, this time. Up off the exit of turn 4. White flag in the air. 1 lap to go for Brandon Jones. We will not catch a late caution. He still hoists a 3-second lead. Zilic has actually put a little bit of time over Austin Hill in that what would have been battle for second. Creed slightly closing on Sammy Smith for 4th. I don't know if he's going to get there, though. Clearly running out of time. Into turns 3 and 4 for the final time for Brandon Jones. Can coast from here. No need to pressure and pass these last couple lap cars directly in front of him. 7th career win in the NASCAR Xfinity Series for Jones, 2nd of the 2025 season, and an automatic berth to the round of 8 of the NASCAR Xfinity Series playoffs for Jones as he wins for the 3rd time in his career at the Kansas Speedway. Runner-up for Connor Zilic in 2nd, Austin Hill 3rd, Sammy Smith by a nose 4th over Sheldon Creed in 5th. And Taylor Gray finishes 6th, 7th for Jesse Love, Nick Sanchez 8th, Brendan Queen 9th, and Dean Thompson rounds out the top 10. All playoff drivers in the top 8 spots. William Sawalich ended up 11th, Daniel Dye from last finishes 12th, Justin Allgaier in 13th after staying out of the pits on that late restart from 4th. He led the most laps. He did win 2 stages today, so if he does make his way into the next round on points, which I believe he has clinched himself a spot. I'll know for sure when they show the point standings on the CW broadcast a little later on, and I'll obviously regurgitate that to you guys so you know the points exiting the stream today. But Allgaier may have pointed his way into the next round. Christian Eckes, 14th place run for him, 15th for Carson Kvapil, who really, that's about as good as he ran all day. 16th for Sam Mayer, who also stayed out of the pits late. I ended up 33 seconds off the lead. He was another lap or two from going a lap down late. Kyle Sieg ends up 17th. He was the last car to finish on the lead lap. And Rasha Kirk, we saw, got lapped late at 18th. Ryan Sieg 19th. Harrison Burton 20th. Not a great playoff race today for Burton. Though because of having a cushion going into this race because of a good start to the round at Gateway. A good start to the round at Bristol with a top 10. I believe he's only single digits back. So Leland Honeyman ends up 21st behind Burton, then Patrick Staropoli in 22nd, Matt DiBenedetto 23rd, Josh Williams 24th, Anthony Alfredo 25th, then Ryan Ellis 26th, Parker Rutzlap 27th, Brendan Poole 28th, Austin Green 29th, and Jeb Burton 30th. Mason Massey 31st, Jeremy Clements 32nd, Joey Gase 33rd, Garrett Smithley 34th, Cole Raz 35th, Blaine Perkins 36th, Justin Bonsignor 37th, and Nick Lights 38th. Only one DNF today, that was Bonsignor. Lights ended up finishing last, 60 laps down, but came back out on the racetrack and ran laps at the finish. 3 drivers have locked themselves into the round of 8 of the playoffs today. 2 on points, 1 with the win. Jones with the win. The 2 on points, the runner-up finish for Zilic, the 2 stage wins, and a 13th place finish for Allgaier. So I did see that on the broadcast. They haven't showed the points yet in full. But when they do, again, I'll let you know. Once more, Connor Zilic and Justin Allgaier have pointed their way into the round of 8. Through the first 2 races of the round and all the playoff points they accumulated in the regular season as well. And Brandon Jones gets the race win and the automatic berth with that. JGR, 2 for 2 in this round of the playoffs. Almirola for the owner standings and Jones today at Kansas, kind of similar to how they did for the Cup Series in the opening round. See if they go 3 for 3 next week. Here's Connor Zilic. He'll be the favorite for that race on the Roval with Kim Kuhn after a runner-up.
Throughout the day, what was the biggest...
That second win.
Awesome. 2.7 second margin of victory again for Brandon Jones today over Connor Zilic. Hopefully they don't cut to commercial too quick here and we can see the point standings going into the round of 12 elimination race, which will be the Charlotte Roval next weekend on the channel. We'll be live for that one at 5 p.m. Eastern next Saturday. Truck Series will be back for the Friday race. Obviously, practice qualifying for the Cup Series will be next week as well. Thank you to everybody who tuned in for both practice and qualifying live commentary coverage today, as well as the NASCAR Xfinity Series race. We'll be live for the NASCAR Cup race tomorrow at 2:30 p.m. Eastern on the channel. They're going to commercial and they haven't showed the point standings yet. I'm about ready to just get out of here at this point because I feel like every week they do this. Sometimes they show it like before they cut the commercial multiple times after races, and then sometimes they don't. I don't know. I get the idea of, not showing it so fans can stick around and watch more of the post race, but it'd still be nice if we knew the championship standings with 5 races to go. Things are heating up. I don't know. Congratulations to Brandon Jones for getting the race win. Again, thank you to all that tuned in throughout the course of today's live commentary stream. We barely got to our like goal of 50. We had about 100 people watching at one point in time as well. So be sure to hit the like button if you haven't done so yet. Subscribe for more NASCAR content. Again, 2:30 p.m. Eastern. We'll be live tomorrow on the channel. Also be doing a NASCAR 08 race from Bristol with the Busch Series at 1 p.m. Eastern. So kind of a doubleheader, if you will, tomorrow. That's because I did not do NASCAR 8 stream last night, so making it up on race day. See you tomorrow afternoon, everybody. Have a good rest of your Saturday night.